Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Ever wondered what happens when a Zoomer who grew up on the Clone Wars,
a millennial Anakin defender,
and a grumpy old Gen Xer walk into a cantina to talk Star Wars?
Then we've got the podcast for you.
Star Wars Generations is a place for fans of all backgrounds to come together, talk about why we love the franchise, and what we can learn from each other.
With so much new Star Wars content coming out, we take a deep dive into all of it. We talk stories and characters, what we learn about the Force and the Empire, Republics old and new, and how each story adds to the larger picture.
Besides episode-by-episode coverage of the new shows, we've been going back to watch the movies in release order. We talk about Star Wars novels and video games, along with fan content and cosplay.
And with each episode, we're just starting the conversation, and we hope you jump in. We'll read your feedback, answer your questions. We've even had full episodes dedicated to questions raised by listeners like you.
You can find us under Star Wars Generations on your favorite podcast app, or by going to theethicalpanda.com. May the Force be with you.
Now this is podcasting.
Hey there, true believers. Andy Nelson here from the Marvel Movie Minute podcast with the rest of the team.
Pete Wright, Kyle Olson,
Rob Cabasco,
And Matthew Fox.
This is the podcast where we dissect the Marvel Cinematic Universe 1 minute at a time, exploring every detail of this epic superhero franchise.
In our season looking at Iron Man 3, we're going to mix things up a bit.
That's right, Rob and I are your guides, but instead of our usual minute-by-minute format, we dive into 5 minutes of the film in each weekly episode.
It's a totally new approach, but one that still allows us to explore all the depth and detail that makes these movies so special, even if Iron Man 3 isn't all that special.
Hold on, that's where you're wrong. Extremist, Shane Black.
Yeah, would you like to look at the Mandarin and Maya Hansen? Mm-hmm.
So whether you're a die-hard Marvel fan or just love deep dives into movies, there's something for everyone on Marvel Movie Minute.
Suit up and join us on this epic audio adventure. You can find us at truestory.fm or by searching Marvel Movie Minute on your favorite podcatcher.
Because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, every minute is packed with excitement.
Enough said.
Hello and welcome to Gang
That
Drink. Ooh, that was a satisfying clink.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Supernatural Drinking Game podcast. That's right. It's the podcast where Krissy and Nate recap an episode of our favorite show, Supernatural. We tell you what drinking game rules we're going to play along with the episode. And at the end of the recap, we tell you how the drinking game rules played out. And then at the very end, we tell you what's coming up for next week.
Bang, bang, boom. That's
Bang,
what we do here.
Bang, boom. It is what we do. But who's doing it? Who's that over there?
This is Nate and the aforementioned Krissy and Nate. And who is that over there?
That's Krissy of Krissy and Nate. We are both performers at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona for all your improv needs in downtown Mesa, Arizona. And we're super excited to be coming at you in a new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Even though I saw you at the freshest point of the new year, as I do every year. You're the first person I see every New Year.
We rang in the New Year's together at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater. 'Twas joyous. 'Twas a joyous occasion for all.
As always. Always a good time.
Yeah. So much fun.
Especially because it's also your birthday, so it's a fun time.
Yeah. It's my birthday, you guys. Or, well, it was. It's not anymore. It hasn't been my birthday in a while now. But it was. It had been my birthday.
At one time was your birthday. And it's your episode.
And it's my episode this week. We are just continuing with my random pick of Monster of the Week episodes. And we are doing season 9, episode 15, hashtag Thin Man, all in caps.
Boom. It's a Monster of the Week, but it's also not.
Yeah, it's a continuation of the Ghostfacers saga.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, I want to know when we get to the end of the episode if we ever see the Ghostfacers again after this.
Oh, okay.
Because you're so good at finding that, and I'm really bad.
Okay, I will see if I can go on the hunt. I thought you knew and were going to quiz me.
No.
Yeah, I'll
You
get on
always
it.
find out. You're
I'll get
always
on
so
it.
good at the research. Okay, so here are the rules. Anytime someone says ghost facers, take a drink. Ghost
Ghost
facers.
faces.
Take a drink for a pop culture reference. Take a sip, just a teeny little sip, anytime someone says Thin Man.
Yeah, take the smallest of sips.
Yep. And then the only other rule is take a drink anytime someone suggests a culprit that it might be, other than the hashtag Thin Man. So there's not a lot of rules because one of them hits so many times.
Oh, many
so
times.
many times. I was like, do I cancel this rule because it happens so many times? And I was like, no, just go with it. Just
I was
roll
just
with
like,
it.
I mean, there's no way our counts are going to be the same. That is the one thing I know for a fact will be different because holy cow.
Holy cow,
I
indeed.
just don't know how we could have ever landed on the same number. There was times when I was like, oh my God, they just said it 5 times, like, or 4 times or whatever. I'm like, ah, dang it. It's great. It's awesome. So excited.
Okay,
but
here we
yeah,
go.
they're good rules. They're good rules, Krissy. They hit a lot. It's a good game.
One of them hits a lot, yeah. One of them hits.
Some of the others do.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. Then it's Ed and Harry, the ghost facers, and they're saying we're professional supernatural investigators. Then we're with Sam and Dean having a boy melodrama moment, a BM moment. Everything bad happens because we're family. Dean, so we're not family now? Sam, no, let's just do the work and keep things strictly business. Dean, I did the right thing. Sam, you did the right thing for you. Now. A young girl is in a room taking selfies and just dancing around to music. And like, how old did she seem to you?
Had to have been like, I don't know. That's a weird question to ask.
Because to me,
15,
she seemed like she was a teen.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was like 15, but she's supposed to be college, right?
I think she's supposed to be college age.
Yeah, no, it seemed to me like, but I don't know. It was her mom was the one
She
sitting
lives
there.
with
She
her
said,
mom, yeah.
and she said she picked out the carpet. So yeah, I'd say probably a high school teenager.
That's what I thought too, but then I think she must have been older because later they reveal information about her that makes it seem like she must have had to be older. Anyway, she's in her room taking selfies and she sees a ghostly thin man in the pic. There's someone standing right behind her. She calls 911, but she can't really talk. And then the thin man gets her ///. It's a really slow, sort of gruesome first death. And blood oozes out through the slats of her closet door. We cut to the bunker where Sam is doing research on what? We'll never know. Just a big pile of research sitting there. And Dean is like, I'll be back. I'm off to Washington. I caught a case. And Sam is like, do you want me to come with you? And Dean is like, do you want to come with me? And they have
what's going
really
on between the
moment.
two of them? What's the thing between them right now?
Sam was supposed to die during the trials. And Dean brought him back.
Right.
And so Sam is mad. Yeah.
Particular. I was one thing I thought about doing this scene was I was just like, I love the show because like it doesn't matter what season you plop in on. You're gonna have, especially in a Monster Week, you're gonna have one of like these scenes. Either at the beginning
where they're like, no, we have to keep it all business. We can't be family.
Yeah, it's very funny to me. And it's like, okay, this was in season 5, and in season like they never get to a point where they're like, we love each other, we're happy with our lives, we're glad that we're doing this thing together, everything is great. Let's go kick some booty. Like it's never like that. It's always
we can't be brothers.
I gotta leave. Why do you always want to leave? We're better apart than together. But
I did what was right together. For both of us.
I did right. It's so evergreen throughout the show.
Yeah, it really is. It really is, because even at the end of Swan Song, He was like, "You got to let me go," and
Yep.
Dean's like, "Okay, I'll let you go," and then Sam's outside the window. Yeah.
I love it.
So Dean shows Sam a photo of a girl with the scary thin man standing behind her, and he's like, "It's a locked room mystery. Teen girl dies in her room. This photo was put on the internet, but no one can tell what got in to kill her." Okay. So they're on the road. They're going to Springdale, Washington, and then the boys are with the mom asking her questions. And she sort of gets ahead of them. She's like, "No, there were no flickers. There was no cold spots either." And they're like, "Oh, why do you mention cold spots?" And she's like, "Listen, the police aren't doing anything. I'd have to sell my house to afford a private investigator. So when the supernaturalists called," and Dean and Sam pick up on this immediately, "the supernaturalists." And the mom says, "I owe it to Casey to investigate. They're coming by today." "Did they say what they're called?" asks Dean at the last second. And then, boom, we're in a diner parking lot, and there's the Ghostfacers van. Ed and Harry. Ghostfacers. Ed and Harry are sitting at a booth. They're excited. They got 2 more followers. Woo!
Woohoo.
The Winchester sit down and threateningly tell them to leave town. Ed and Harry are like, "We're not scared of you." And Harry, whichever one of them, the littler one, has a gun. And Dean's like, "Am I supposed to be impressed by your treasure trail or that little lady gun you're carrying around?" Dean, come on.
That's a funny line. That's a funny.
But they
line.
won't go because they know what they're doing. Even though they've lost their other 2 Ghostfacers, who Dean refers to as the fat one and the girl. And he's like, "So it's just the dumpy duo left?" He's really leaning hard into them.
He does not like them.
And Dean is like, "You better watch out, because you'll get someone else killed, or a ghost would kill you." And Ed and Harry are like, "They think it's a ghost. Ha ha ha. It's so not a ghost." And then they're like, "Okay, we'll bite. What is it?" And then he says, "Oh, let me do it. Okay. Amazon me, bitches." What does that mean? What's Amazon me, bitches? What does that mean?
It's funny because I obviously I think it means like look me up on Amazon because they had a book written. So that's it's supposed to be like Google me, but instead of saying Google, they're saying Amazon, which is funny because Google me. There's in college football this year there was a coach who took a team that is traditionally very, very, very bad, one of the worst teams in history, and took them to many wins. And he came from a different school. It was his first season, and one of the things he was famous for saying throughout the year, or at one point in the year, was "Google me, I win." And so that became like people put it on T-shirts and stuff like that. So when he said Amazon me, I was like, that's funny. I was like, that almost sounded like Venmo me, like he was asking for money. Like
that's what I thought it was. Like, go on Amazon and send me money.
But what Amazon was, I know what this is 9, so I'm trying to do math. What year was this? Amazon, I don't think even is quite the behemoth it is now.
Oh,
like,
sure it is.
I mean, it is, but like. It's not. I don't know. Back in when did this air again? I had it in front of me.
Hold on, let me look it up. I had it in front of me too, and
2014. The Amazon trucks were not as
March
prolific
4th, 2014.
on the roads
Directed
as they
by
are today.
Gino Swark. Written by Jenny Klein.
So 10 years ago. Even 10 years ago, the Amazon, the Prime, obviously a lot of that was accelerated by pandemic and stuff like that. Of like, how much we see of it today. I think Amazon, but still, even in 2014 though, Amazon me is a weird thing to say. Maybe they couldn't.
It didn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I couldn't get it. Oh, we should mention that Ed Zedmore is played by AJ Buckley, and Harry Spangler is played by Travis Wester. Those are our 2 featured guest stars for this week.
Bam.
So we're back at the hotel, and I guess Sam Amazoned him because Ed and Harry have written a book called The Skinny on Thin Man. And all the pictures that they're seeing look like the thing in the pic of the young girl. It's like this tall, skinny, faceless man wearing like dressed up like he's looking like Neo from the Matrix.
Yeah. Basically, it looks like what were the what are the things in Doctor Who?
Oh, the silence?
The Silence. That's what he looks like. It looks like the
Yeah,
Silence.
it looks like the silence. They're gross. They don't have faces. But this hotel room is fire. It is all rustic wood carvings, and we see a little placard on the table that it's called Paul's Old Mill Inn.
Well, actually, Krissy, I'm glad you brought that up because I just happened to be looking at the Wikipedia page for Springdale, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
The present site of Springdale was a wilderness until about 1886 when Mr. John Schreiner and Mr. Charles O. Squire arrived at about the same time. Squire erected the first sawmill in 1887. So what was the name of it again?
Paul's Old Mill
Paul's
Inn.
Old Mill Inn. Well, you know what? Close enough. I like that. It was a sawmill that was basically started this town. And so
Nice.
that I feel would have to be an ode to this town.
Yes, indeed. They
Yeah,
did their
so
research.
the fact that I didn't notice that, but you did on that, and then I was just reading the Wikipedia page. So
Excellent.
yeah, it's a teeny little town northwest of Spokane, basically. If you're familiar with where that is.
And the bad guys eventually make reference to it being such a small town.
Yeah, it's a teeny town. It's like 200 people live there.
Wonderful. So Dean won't believe that it's Thin Man. He keeps looking for a ghost. He's gonna like research the local deaths and see if they can find a ghost. At the young girl's house, Ed and Harry are making a video in the closet where Casey died, which is so inappropriate. And it really makes you think twice about the ghost facers.
Yeah.
But Harry is distracted by Facebook stalking his ex. And they have a little back and forth that she looks like she's with another guy now, and he's very jealous, and her relationship status has changed to it's complicated. But they can sense the Thin Man getting closer, and Harry says, "I can smell his musk."
Well, you can sort of.
Yeah, you can. Ed wants to bail because of the Winchesters. And Harry is like, no, we need to find the Thin Man to make the haters eat their words. They're like, we're going to find the Thin Man, and then who's going to be on Dr. Phil? We're going to be on Dr. Phil.
I don't think I wrote that one down as a reference.
Pop culture reference, yep.
Yeah.
And then Harry's like, we're going to need snorkels because we're going to be swimming in. And the mom walks in on them bringing a tray of lemonade. And if I was her, I would just kick them right out of the house.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah. Back at the hotel, Sam and Dean are doing research. It seems like Thin Man is both real and fake at the same time. But the big question, the question that no one seems to be able to answer, is how did the picture of the girl and the Thin Man get online? If the girl took it with her phone and then she died and the phone cracked, how did who posted this picture? And why does this one seem so real? Sammy says it's real when all the other ones seem so fake. That's the big mystery that we're dealing with right now. So we go to the police station, and they're going through the evidence. The deputy is helping them out, but he lets them know that the ghost facers have already been there. So who posted the photo at 2 a.m.? That's what they need to know. At the restaurant that they ate at before, the boss is in there doing tallies. The Thin Man appears in a flash in the parking lot and then appears right behind him and kills him. What? It's like he teleported. The next day, Sam and Dean are at the scene investigating, but Ed and Harry are there, and the deputy says, we decided to go a little bit medium pop culture reference.
Yes, I got that one.
Because the 2 towns over, a psychic helped find a missing girl. So they're letting Ed and Harry be there to take video of all the evidence. Sam and Dean are looking at the security footage. Ed and Harry threaten to out Sam and Dean if they don't let them stay and investigate. So they're all sort of cozy together looking at the Thin Man's security footage, and he disappears and reappears. And they're like, okay, this is really weird. And Ed and Harry are like, duh, everyone knows Thin Man can teleport. And they take off. They're driving. Ed and Harry mentioned that someone posted the footage of the restaurant security camera to their blog. But who? Who posted the footage? Who cares, says Ed. Or no, who cares, says Harry. Harry wants to go to the woods to investigate. Everyone knows that Thin Man hangs out by trees, and the woods are where trees hang out. Ed doesn't agree, and he wants to let Sam and Dean take over. But Harry wants to find the Thin Man and make up for everything they're lost. We are the professionals, Ed, he says. Sam and Dean are like sort of brainstorming together, and Sam is like, okay, I don't know about you. When I think teleporting, I think Crossroads Demon.
Yeah. No.
And Dean is like, yeah, no. A Crossroads Demon who likes to hang out with teenage girls? No.
Watch YouTube? Yeah.
Watch YouTube. But someone posted the video. Who posted the video? Who's posting all these things? Sam and Dean share a really cute moment where they tell a story about them both jumping off the shed roof. But Dean was dressed as Superman and Sam was dressed as Batman. So, of course, he fell and broke his arm because Batman can't fly. And then Dean drove him to the ER on his handlebars. Aw.
Cute.
Ed shows up and says, I have a confession to make. We cut to Harry in the woods alone, and he's like, I am here on a trek to find the Thin Man. And he's doing his whole, like, ghost facers talking to the camera thing.
Which, like, I just want to say, like, these two look so old in this episode.
Yeah,
by
they do.
now. It's like, it really is, like, sad where you're like, just both of you give it up. Like,
Yep.
oof. And I don't mean that in the actors. I just mean, like, the characters
Yeah.
for what they are.
Mm-hmm. So that has to do with what Ed is confessing. He's confessing that he broke up Harry and his girlfriend. And Dean is like, this sounds like sad times at Bitchmont High.
Yeah, that's a good line.
And
I laughed.
Ed is like, Harry was going to leave, so he made up the Thin Man to get him to stay. We cut back to Harry in the woods, and we see behind him the Thin Man is there. Sam is like, you got to tell Harry that you made up the Thin Man. And Ed is like, but he'll leave the ghost facers. Take a drink. Sam is like, he'll leave anyway. Secrets ruin relationships. Bum, 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 bum. And Dean gives him a look. Harry is alone in some trees behind a grocery store. And they're like, you left Harry alone in the woods? And he's like, yeah, but he's in some trees behind a grocery store. He'll be fine. And they're like, no. We need to go get him right now. Harry is doing his like Blair Witch single camera through the woods thing. And he's like, I found a bunch of sticks in the shape of a pile. And then the pile is disrupted. And he's like, we are not alone. And then the Thin Man appears and slashes Harry. He runs away immediately. And he runs right into Sam and Dean and Ed. And he sort of falls over. And he's like, it was Thin Man that cut me. And we all know that Thin Man doesn't drive because Dean had found some tire treads and took a picture. Ed does his big confession. Harry is mad. He left his fiance to run around with Ed. And Ed's like, I saved you from a life as a corporate stooge. And Harry is like, you made a chump out of me. I can't go back to the ghost facers, take a drink, and I can't trust you anymore. Ed's like, just tell me what you need. I'll go get coffee and you stay here and just chill out. But Harry is super upset. Sam goes to see Harry and he's like, are you okay? And Harry's like, no, man. I just got punched in the feels. None of it was real. Ed was just pretending. And Sammy's like, well, you got to figure out what you can forgive and what you can't forgive. Meanwhile, Dean has been working on the actual evidence, and he's like, the tires match a Geo Metro, and the only Geo Metro in town belongs to some guy named Roger. And they're like, okay, so the Thin Man is real, but he also drives a car and is named Roger. And they're like, yeah, man, this case is weird. So Ed and Harry are like, come on, we gotta go. We gotta clean up our mess. We set out to help people mostly, so let's go do what we mostly set out to do. So they go with Sam, and they sort of go not with Sam and Dean, but after Sam and Dean. While they're going to investigate where this guy, the old sawmill where Roger supposedly works, Sam and Dean bump into the deputy from earlier, and he's like, "My boss is AWOL. I need help, but I'll stay back." So when Sam and Dean break into the building, bada boom, he tases them both in the neck. And he's like, "I always wanted to use these." So Sam and Dean are all tied up, and they say to the deputy, "So you're the thin man? How come it looks like you just ate a fat camp?" And he's setting up cameras around them, and he's like,
Dean's so bitchy in this episode.
he's so bitchy in this episode. He's really got his snark on full volume. And Sam's like, "So if you're the thin man, how did you teleport?" And the deputy's like, "It's a team effort." And the thin man walks in. It's a guy wearing a mask, of course. It's the waiter from the diner. And they're like, "So you killed your boss at the diner?" And he's like, "Yeah, he was a dick." And they're like, "What about Casey?" And the thin man, the Roger, the waiter from the diner, is like, "Well, she wouldn't go out with me, so I set her up with someone else.
Right.
My knife."
Which
and
is
that's
why
what
you
makes me think she
think
has to
that
be
she's
older.
older because he's older. Yeah, I would love to think that. Also, like maybe he is such a creep that he was trying to
She
date a high
is
school girl.
trying to
and
date a
then,
high
like,
school
he's
girl,
obviously
yeah.
stabbing people and stuff. And maybe we're supposed to be, maybe he's supposed to be younger than he looks, or that's another thing. Is like, well, maybe he's supposed to be like 18, 19 or something. Because I mean, he does seem kind of young, but like. Yeah, I mean, as per usual with Soups and X-Files, is the creepiest bad guys are always the humans.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that's
ultimately.
exactly right.
Because
Yep.
they make Thin Man's real creepy in this episode from the beginning and everything. Like, I mean, they do a good job of the kind of the jump scares and the popping up on the screens and stuff. And but yeah, as usual, the scariest part is when it's just people.
It's just people, yeah. And they show that he killed the sheriff, and they're like, "You killed the sheriff too?" And he's like, "I guess he should have given me the time off I asked for."
Yeah,
And they're like,
fuck
"So you're
these
just psychos."
Yes, they're just psychos. There's no rhyme
And
or reason.
he's like, "Roger is the psycho, the deputy is the visionary." And they're like, "Yeah, pretty boys like you don't even know what it's like to live in a town of 300 people and feel invisible." And Dean's like, "You're not the thin man, you're just copycat killers." And they're like, "Nuh-uh, we're going to make a viral video out of killing you, and then we're going to be the real thin man." So they set up their viral video, and right when he's about to slash Dean, Ed and Harry show up. What? They saved the
Yeah.
day.
Ghost faces.
Facers. And Ed's like, "Scooby-Doo time, bitch. You're not the thin man. You're just a meme." And Harry says, "It's meme. It's spelled M-E-M-E." And he's like, "Yeah, but the second me is silent." And he's like, "You're a meme man." But of course, the deputy gets the drop on them during all of this. And he's like, "Oh, you created the thin man? This is great. We got the creator. It's a Frankenstein situation." But of course, by then, Sam and Dean have escaped from their bindings. Duh. They fight. And Dean very, very slowly stabs Roger. It's like so slow and really intentional and gross.
Yeah.
The deputy pulls his gun. Ed steps between him and Sam and says, "This is all my fault." And then Harry shoots the deputy with this little lady gun. So both of the bad guys are dead.
But he didn't shoot the sheriff.
Nope, but he did shoot the deputy. So Sam and Dean are packing up baby. They made it look like the two bad guys killed each other to create the thin man lore. And Sam's like, "They were just people, man. They weren't demons or monsters. They were just people." And Dean's like, "Yeah, well, I keep telling you, people are sick." Ed is talking to Harry and he's like, "Are we cool, man?" And Harry's like, "We never will be."
No.
And Ed's like, "We made it right though. We got the bad guys and you saved my life." And he's like, "I killed a guy. You killed a bad guy. But it was
I'm
still a
still a
guy,
guy."
Ed." Yeah. And he's like, "Too many people have died for your crap." And Ed's like, "I did this crap for us." And Harry's like, "No, you did it for you. And I can't forgive you." Ed says, "Well, what does this mean for us?" And Harry says, "It's complicated." So Harry,
2009.
yeah, Harry gets a ride from Sam and Dean, and they leave Ed behind crying. Oh, inside baby, Dean says, "Harry, you okay?" And Harry's like, "No, I thought we'd be old together, you know? It's like when you realize that the other person in the rocking chair is gone and the chair is just empty." Sam and Dean look at each other, and that's the end. But I have a question. How did Roger, who is the Thin Man, know that Harry would be out in the woods?
Okay, I was gonna ask that earlier when you were going over that scene. My
Yeah.
guess is they were just tailing these guys. I don't know. Like,
Okay, that's the only thing that would make sense though,
because the
because
cop knew that they were investigating, and they had seen the guy both gone, like both Dean and Sam and the Ghost Facers had gone by the police station asking that cop or Roger, and so yeah, I guess it just makes sense that he would maybe have been following them with
because
the
they don't explain
thing.
it. They do explain that they were the ones who posted the pictures. They posted the
Yeah.
picture from her phone, and they posted the footage from the diner to Ed and Harry's blog.
Right.
So they were doing that. So that's that mystery solved. But yeah, I still don't get how they knew he was going to be in the woods.
Yeah. That's I would assume just the cop followed him. That
Okay.
Roger followed him and was like, "These guys are coming after us. Like, we better take care of them."
You better take them out.
Yeah, that's the only possible explanation. Although, okay, Springdale is only like literally like 2 miles big, 2 square miles big, and he said he dropped him off in the trees behind the grocery store. So maybe there's not that much going on in town. They bumped into it. I don't know what was
Or
out there.
maybe Ed and Harry, like, I don't know, but they posted. Maybe
They
posted.
were posting. They were posting that because they were talking about the hits they got on, or because they were like pulling up the video while they were driving there. So yeah, maybe they posted on the blog that they were going out there to the wood. The wood.
The wood. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, how did the rules play out?
Pooh.
Woo! All right, we're gonna save the best for last. How many
Okay.
times did they say ghost facers?
I counted 8.
I got 8 too.
Yeah.
All right, how many pop culture references did you get?
10.
I got 10 as well.
Cool.
How many suggested culprits were there?
5.
That's right. A tulpa, a ghost, a crossroads demon, a regular demon, and a Bigfoot.
Yep.
Okay. How many times did you count them say Thin Man?
29 times, and it's probably an undercount.
I got 43.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There was so many times I was like, fuck, they just said it. Like,
They just said it.
So many
They said
times.
it again.
So I was just guessing.
Thin man.
I guess. I don't know. I was like, I'm trying to watch the episode. Yeah.
It's definitely the most of any rule we've ever played.
That's good though.
Mm-hmm.
To answer your question from earlier, Krissy, the Ghost Facers, this is their last actual appearance on Supernatural.
Okay, so they just leave Ed and Harry hanging like this.
Pretty much, yeah. They are referenced, and or like a video of them is seen at some point in an episode. I don't know what season it said it was, like 14 or something. But yeah, this is their last hurrah for the Ghost Facers. So.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I couldn't find confirmation, so Okay. Thank you for finding that. Yay. That's hashtag Thin Man. What is up next, Nate?
Okay, Krissy. I really was. We're obviously on the Chuck Files / the Chuck Wagon, the whole Chuck box, and I really debated maybe going into some episodes that between the last one we talked about and his next appearance, because it is quite some time. However, there is one episode, but we've already talked about it. That is fan fiction.
Yep, season 10.
And so we've already done that episode. It obviously comes in at the very end. We can discuss that segment of it in the next episode. So I was thinking about maybe doing some, like, I don't know, some episodes to highlight maybe some profits between
Okay. Some Kevin Tran.
some Kevin Tran and some Metatron, but I'm not. So I'm gonna just get back to. We're gonna go straight with the Chuck stuff, and then I think after we're done with all the Chuck stuff, we'll go explore the profits and maybe talk about how that falls in with all the Chuck stuff. So we are going straight to season 11, episode 20. Don't Call Me Shirley.
Season 11, episode 20. Don't call me Shirley.
All right, we're drinking for pop culture references. This is a hard episode to make a game out of. I will admit that right now.
Okay.
Anytime we get some black veins.
Okay.
Anytime we're talking about Amara.
Yeah, talking about Amara.
Yeah. Anytime we get some fog.
Okay.
And then you're taking shots for a Chuck solo, or Chuck finish your drink or whatever, double drink. But for the Chuck solos, yeah. So them's the rules. Not gonna lie, probably not gonna be the best game, but it's also a really hard episode to make a game out of, because it is 60%, 65% Chuck and Metatron sitting around.
Yeah.
in a bar. So yeah, it's like a phenomenal episode though. I will say that. I really enjoyed watching it, and I'm going to really enjoy talking about it and diving deep into the real god of it all.
Yeah, because the gloves are off now.
Yes, they are. And yeah, so I'm very excited to talk about that episode.
Excelente. So, Nate, where can people find us in the real world?
In the real world, they can come to the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona, and they can find out when we'll be there by going to nctphoenix.com and following the socials on the Instagrams and the Facebook, I'm sure still. And what else do we do, Krissy? You're the one who does the stuff. What else is there?
I don't know. There's Instagram, there's Facebook. Yeah. We don't really do Twitter.
We do a newsletter. Sign up.
There's a newsletter. Just sent one today.
I was gonna say I just got it today. So
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So we do improv comedy shows. Come see them. They're fun.
Come see them. They're fun.
I had someone I was at a sporting event, and someone told me they came to the musical show on Friday.
Oh, nice.
They said it was really good. It was Greg. So shout out Greg.
Oh, hey, Greg.
Greg Leff. I don't think he listens to this, but shout out to Greg.
Shout out Greg. And if you're looking for us more online, go to True Story FM, where you can find this podcast and my other podcast, the Most Excellent 80s Movies podcast. You can become a member for $5 a month or $55 for the whole year. You get every episode early, and you get some extra special bonus content at the end. And it's lots of fun. So consider doing that, or just rate, review, thumbs up, heart, subscribe. All those things that help out your favorite podcasts. They help us out even more than the big shows that you listen to, because we're a little guy.
Yeah.
We're just a little guy.
Help us out.
Help out the little guy. And while you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things, the the family business. Be sure to keep the Gank That Drank motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. What's up, Supernatural superfans?
It's Nate and Krissy, your hosts of
Gank That Drink, the Supernatural Drinking Game Podcast.
It's the podcast where we make up drinking game rules for a favorite episode of our favorite show, Supernatural.
We recap the episode for you and let you know how all the rules played out.
Then we let you know the drinking game rules for the next episode, so you can play along.
But we want to talk to you today about becoming an exclusive member of Gank That Drink, a Supernatural Drinking Game Podcast.
Becoming a member is just $5 a month. It's easy to do, and it helps keep the podcast going, bringing you more fresh drink to gank. Or gank to drink, whatever.
One of those two. Plus, members get every episode early and ad-free,
with some extra bonus content at the end of each episode as a member exclusive.
We play games, we talk trivia, we chat about what we were watching besides Supernatural.
We talk about our lessons learned from each episode, and sometimes give you a geographical zoom in on the towns or areas the episodes take place in.
We have fun! Ha 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 ha! And we gank those drinks, and we want you to be a part of it.
So join us and become a member at truestory.fm/gankthatdrink.
And when you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things,
you know, the family business.
Keep the Gank That Drank motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.